You have been feeling it for weeks, perhaps months. That pressure in your chest that isn't an illness. You've already gone to the doctor, had exams, and nothing came up. That sensation that the ground beneath your feet is moving, yet no one around you seems to notice. You wake up in the middle of the night with a strange clarity, as if something were about to click into place. But when you try to explain it to someone, the words vanish. Listen well to what I am going to tell you now. You are not going crazy. You are not making it up. And what is happening to you has a name that you do not yet know, but you will know in the next few minutes of this video. What you are experiencing is the most unequivocal sign that an understanding that was forming in silence within you has finally reached the point of maturation. It is as if your soul were pregnant with a truth, and now the time for birth has arrived. Not because a magic date decreed it, but because you, with everything you have lived, with every pain you have crossed, with every sleepless night, have finally reached the threshold. And this threshold changes everything. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I am going to show you here is not cheap motivation. It is not an empty promise. It is the exact map of what is happening inside you now, why it is happening, and what you need to do so as not to waste the most important moment of your spiritual journey. If this channel has helped you at some point, subscribe now, because what comes next needs to reach more people. Let's start with what you are feeling. And I need to be very specific here, because if I get at least 3 of the symptoms I'm going to describe right, you will understand that this video did not reach you by chance. First symptom: you are restless, but you don't know with what. It is not clinical anxiety. It is not that nervousness that comes from a bill to pay or a deadline at work. It is an existential restlessness. It is as if something inside you knew that there is a place where you should be.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
Something you should be doing. A version of yourself that you should be living. And the distance between where you are and where you should be has become unbearable. A study conducted by the Núcleo de Estudos Avanzados of the Universidade de São Paulo showed that Brazilian adults over 35 report a significant increase in the search for purpose and existential meaning, especially after going through rupture events, job loss, separation, grief, illness. It is not a coincidence. When material comfort is no longer enough, when routine no longer anesthetizes, the soul begins to push. And this push is what you are feeling. Second symptom: patterns have begun to appear where before there was chaos. You start to notice that certain situations in your life repeat themselves, not in an identical way, but with the same structure. The same type of person appears, the same type of challenge returns, the same lesson presents itself dressed in different clothes, and recently this perception has intensified. You have begun to perceive connections between events that previously seemed totally random. That dismissal 5 years ago that forced you to change cities, the friendship that fell apart and made room for another that became essential, the moment of despair that made you pray in a way you had never prayed before. Researchers from the Instituto de Neurociencias of Unicamp documented that the human brain possesses an extraordinary capacity to identify patterns, even in sets of apparently disconnected data. It is a mechanism that neuroscientists call coherence detection, the same cognitive system that allows us to recognize familiar faces in the middle of crowds also operates in the detection of meaning in the narrative of our own lives. What happens is that, At certain moments of psychological and spiritual maturation, this system enters a state of hypersensitivity. You literally begin to see what was always there, but which your previous level of consciousness did not have the capacity to process. Third symptom, you feel an urgency that you cannot explain, as if there were an internal clock counting down, but you don't know for what. It is not fear, it is not haste, it is a kind of summons, a gentle but persistent pressure that says, now, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, now. If you identified with at least 2 of these symptoms, I need you to stop what you are doing and pay total attention to what comes next, because these symptoms are not random. They are the manifestation of something that the oldest spiritual tradition in the world has already described with astonishing precision, and that modern science is beginning to confirm. If this content is making sense to you, leave a like now, it's not vanity. The algorithm needs to know that this type of video matters so we can continue producing. Now let's get to the cause. Why is this happening to you, and why is it happening now? There is a word in ancient Greek that philosophers and early theologians use to describe a very specific type of time. That word is kairos. K-A-I-R-O-S. In the Greek language, there are 2 completely distinct concepts for what we, in Portuguese, simply call tempo. The first is chronos, the time of the clock. The time that runs, that is measured in hours, days, years. Chronos is implacable. It doesn't care if you are ready or not. It simply passes. But kairos is something else. Kairos is the opportune time, the qualitative moment, the instant in which all internal and external conditions converge to create a window of possibility that did not exist before and may not exist after. Kairos is not about the calendar. It is about maturation. It is the fruit that falls from the tree, not because someone decided the harvest date, but because it reached the exact weight that the branch can no longer support. Do you understand? No one decreed that today is your day. What happened was that you, with each experience, each pain, each silent prayer, were maturing to the point where understanding simply no longer fits within the silence. It needs to come out. It needs to manifest, not because an external force decided, but because you reach the point of readiness. There is a concept in Hebrew that deepens this in an extraordinary way. The word is Galah, G-A-L-A-H. In the original text of the Old Testament, Galah is the verb used to describe divine revelation. But the etymology of this word is fascinating, because Galah does not mean God told a secret. Galah literally means to remove a covering, to take away a veil, to discover something that was already there but was covered. Do you perceive the difference? It's not that God was hiding something from you. It's that there was a covering, made of immaturity, of fear, of distraction, of unprocessed pain, that prevented you from seeing what was always before your eyes. The moment you are living now is a moment of Galah. The covering is being removed. Not because an entity decided the time has come, but because you did the work. Every tear you swallowed in silence, every time you chose to continue when everything inside you told you to give up, every dawn in which you talked to God without knowing if anyone was listening. All of this was refining your capacity for perception to the point where the veil became too thin to continue blocking the light. And there is a third concept that closes this equation. It is the Greek term pleroma, P-L-E-R-O-M-A. Pleroma means fullness, completeness. In the biblical text, it appears in the letter to the Galatians in the context of the expression, the fullness of time, when time reached its completeness. It is not an arbitrary moment. It is the moment when everything that needed to accumulate, accumulated. Everything that needed to mature, matured. And reality simply no longer accommodates the old version. It is like the butterfly's cocoon. A point comes when the larva does not break the cocoon because it decided to, but because its body grew beyond the capacity of the casing. The rupture is not a choice. It is an inevitable consequence of growth. You are in your moment of pleroma, and this leads me to the story of a man who lived the most dramatic example of this that the scriptures have ever recorded. His name was Jose, not the father of Jesus, the other Jose, the son of Jacob, the one who was sold by his own brothers as a slave when he was a teenager. Think about this man's situation. He had prophetic dreams when he was young, dreams that showed a grand future. And what happened after those dreams? Betrayal, slavery, false accusation, prison. Years and years and years of absolute silence. No confirmation, no sign. No voice saying, hold on, it will be worth it. From the point of view of Chronos, of clock time, José's life was a sequence of meaningless catastrophes. Each event seemed disconnected from the previous one. Each suffering seemed random. But when the Kairos arrived, when José was called from prison to interpret Pharaoh's dream, and on that same day became the second most powerful man in Egitto, in that instant, all the dots connected. Slavery taught him to manage resources in adverse conditions. The false accusation taught him to maintain integrity when no one was looking. The prison gave him access to Pharaoh's cupbearer, who years later would remember him at the exact moment. Nothing was random. Each piece was part of a meticulous preparation that only made sense when seen from the point of arrival. This is exactly what is happening to you now. The pieces of your life are beginning to connect. That which seemed like an error is revealing itself as an alternative route. That which seemed like loss is showing itself as necessary pruning, and that which seemed like God's silence is revealing itself as the period in which the deepest preparation was happening, precisely because what comes next demands a version of you that the previous version would not have the capacity to sustain. There is a second biblical story that illuminates a different aspect of what you are living. It is the story of Anna, the mother of Samuel. Anna lived for years in a suffering that no one around her understood. She deeply wanted to be a mother, and she couldn't. In the culture of the time, this was not just a personal pain, it was a social mark, a stigma. And worse, she saw everyone around her receiving exactly what she desired most. Her husband's other wife, Penina, had children and made sure to remind Anna of her condition every day. Think about what that does to a person. It is not just the pain of absence. It is the pain of absence amplified by the ostentatious presence of what you lack in the life of another. And Anna prayed. She prayed in silence with such intensity that the priest Eli himself, upon seeing her in the temple, thought she was drunk. Her prayer was so deep, so visceral, that it did not fit into audible words. It was pure groaning of the soul, and for years, nothing happened. Researchers from the Programa de Pós-Graduação em Psicologia Clínica of PUC de São Paulo documented that the period of prolonged waiting for something significant produces in the human being a phenomenon they describe as maturation by containment. It is like the pressure that transforms carbon into diamond. It is not the pressure itself that creates the diamond. It is the combination of pressure with time. Without time, pressure only destroys. With time, it transforms. Anna was not being ignored. She was being prepared. And when the Kairos arrived, when Samuel was born, he was not just a son. He was the prophet who anointed the first 2 kings of Israel. He was the instrument that reconfigured an entire nation. The scale of the delivery was proportional to the depth of the preparation. If you are at that moment where the wait seems to have passed all reasonable limits, if you look back and see years of apparently unanswered prayer, I need you to understand. The delay is not rejection. The delay is proportion. The greater the preparation, the greater the delivery. Now I want you to do something. In the comments of this video, write the word revelation in capital letters. Revelation. This word is not just a comment, it is a declaration. It is you saying, I recognize that the veil is being removed. I recognize that my moment of gala has arrived. I recognize that the years of preparation were not in vain. Write revelation now. And here is where we reach the most important part. Because knowing that you are in a moment of Kairos is one thing. Knowing what to do with it is something completely different. And if you don't know what to do, the moment passes. Not because God withdrew the opportunity, but because the window of readiness demands corresponding action. There is a third biblical story that illustrates this with frightening clarity. It is the story of Simeo. This man is little known, but what he lived is perhaps the purest example of what it means to recognize the Kairos when it arrives. Simeon was an elderly man in Jerusalem. The biblical text says that the Holy Spirit had revealed to him that he would not die before seeing the Messiah. Think about the situation. He received a promise, but without a deadline, without details, without a map. Just an inner certainty. Before you die, you will see. And what did Simeon do? He waited, but he did not wait passively. He went to the temple every day. Every day he placed himself in the position of being available for the moment. He didn't know when it would come. He didn't know how it would come. But he guaranteed one thing. When it came, he would be present. And one day, an apparently ordinary day, without any special sign in the sky, without trumpets, without announcement, a young couple entered the temple carrying a baby for the presentation ritual. Hans Simeon looked at that baby and recognized him. Not because the baby glowed, not because there was a visible miracle, but because decades of internal preparation had refined Simeon's perception to the point where he could see the extraordinary within the ordinary. This is the key I need you to keep. The moment of Kairos almost never announces itself with a spectacle. It arrives disguised as an ordinary day, and only those who have done the internal work of preparation can recognize it. UNIFESP published a study on what researchers called the state of expanded receptivity, a neurological state documented in practitioners of contemplative meditation and deep prayer, where the prefrontal cortex enters a pattern of activity that significantly increases the capacity to perceive subtle stimuli. In other words, contemplative practice is not just spiritual comfort. It literally reconfigures the brain to perceive what the distracted mind ignores. Simeon was not just a man of faith. He was a man who had trained his perception for decades, and when the moment came, he did not need external confirmation. He simply knew. Now let's get to the practical solution. What do you do when you realize you are on the threshold of your Kairos? I'm going to give you 3 concrete movements. They are not abstract steps. They are actions you can implement starting today. First movement, stop asking for external confirmation. This is the most common mistake people make when they feel they are at a turning point. They start looking for validation outside of themselves. They ask friends, they ask leaders, they ask anyone who seems to have authority. And what happens? Most of these people cannot confirm what you are feeling because they are not at the same point of maturation as you. The perception of Kairos is individual. It is non-transferable. When Simeon took that baby in the temple, there were probably dozens of other people around who looked and saw only a poor couple with a newborn. They weren't wrong. They simply didn't have the necessary perception to see beyond the surface. If you are waiting for someone from the outside to confirm what your soul already knows, you will wait forever. The confirmation you seek is already inside you. It is that restlessness we described at the beginning, that urgency that cannot be explained, that silent certainty that survives any rational argument against it. Second movement, create space for silence. This is not a metaphor, it is a literal instruction. The HeartMath Institute in the United States documented that the state of cardiac coherence, when the heart rhythm enters into sync with the nervous system, is drastically favored by periods of intentional silence. And what happens when the heart enters coherence? The capacity for intuition increases, mental clarity is amplified, anxiety decreases. The noise that prevents you from hearing your own inner guidance loses volume. You don't need a week-long spiritual retreat. You need 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes in which the cell phone is on silent, in which no one will interrupt you, in which you are not consuming any information. Just you and the silence. At first, it will be uncomfortable. The mind will protest. It will want to fill the space with thoughts, worries, to-do lists. Let it. Don't fight the thoughts, just don't feed them. They will pass, like clouds. And in the space that remains when they pass, the clarity you are seeking will begin to emerge, not as a thundering voice, but as Simeon recognized the Messiah, as a sudden understanding that needs no explanation. Third movement, act before you feel ready. This is counterintuitive, but it is absolutely fundamental. Kairos does not wait for you to feel confident. It demands that you act from conviction, not from comfort. Remember Jose, when he was called from prison to interpret Pharaoh's dream, he didn't have time to prepare. He didn't have time to take a course, to put together a presentation, to rehearse. He was called and had to respond with what he already had inside him. All the preparation had already been done in the years of silence. The time to use it was now. A study conducted by the Programa de Empreendedorismo of FGV identified that Brazilian entrepreneurs who achieved the most sustainable success shared a common characteristic: the ability to act under conditions of incomplete information. They didn't wait to have all the answers. They acted with what they knew, learned from the process, and adjusted the route while in motion. Your spiritual journey works the same way. You are never going to have all the clarity before taking the first step. The first step is what produces the clarity for the second, and the second produces the clarity for the third. The revelation, the gala, is not a complete package that arrives ready-made. It is an unfolding that activates as you advance. If you have made it this far, I need to tell you something. This was not an accident. Of the thousands of people who started this video, many have already left. Many got distracted. You stayed. And you stayed because something inside you recognized what was being said. This recognition is Gala itself in action. The covering is being removed in real time. Activate the notification bell of this channel now, because in the next video, I am going to deepen something I only mentioned here: the concept of Teshuvah, the great inner turn that the scriptures describe as the most powerful act a human being can perform. And I am going to show you why this turn is the natural next step after what you are living now. Now I want to talk to you about something most people don't realize about the process we've described here. When the veil is removed, when Gala happens, the first reaction is not euphoria, it is discomfort. Do you know why? Because seeing clearly means seeing everything, including what you were avoiding. It means seeing the relationships that no longer serve you. It means recognizing the commitments you maintain out of obligation, not purpose. It means admitting that certain fears you judged rational were, in fact, disguises for resistance to growth. The professor of personality psychology at UFMG documented in his research that moments of deep insight are frequently accompanied by a period of temporary disorientation, what he describes as constructive disorganization. The old system needs to dismantle itself so that the new has space to organize. It is like a renovation. Before the new house, there is the debris phase. You may be in that phase now. You may be looking around and seeing more mess than before. This doesn't mean something went wrong, it means something is going very right. The demolition of what needs to happen before the construction of what will be. Jose lived this when he left prison. From one day to the next, he went from prisoner to governor. The external change was instantaneous, but the internal adaptation took time. He needed to learn to inhabit the new identity. He needed to let go of the victim identity, which, however painful it was, had become familiar. This is perhaps the most challenging aspect of what you are living. Letting go of who you were to become who you are being called to be. Not because the previous version was bad, but because it fulfilled its role, it brought you here. And now, with gratitude and with courage, it is time to advance. Anna also lived this. When Samuel was born, she did something that defies all human logic. She gave the boy back to the temple. She handed over to the priest Eli, the child she had asked for years. Why? Because Anna understood that Samuel was not the end of the journey. He was the beginning of a new one. Revelation is not the destination. Revelation is the door, and doors exist to be walked through, not to be admired. And here is what I need to be engraved in you. The secret that seems to be being revealed is not a secret about God. It is a secret about you. It is the understanding of who you really are when you remove all the layers of fear, insecurity, others' expectations, and limiting narratives that you accumulated over decades. Beneath all that exists someone you barely recognize, not because that person is a stranger, but because they are extraordinarily familiar. It is the version of you that existed before the world told you who you should be. And it is the version of you that is emerging now, strengthened by everything life tried to use to break you. Pleroma, the fullness of time. It is not about the world out there being ready. It is about you being ready, and you are. I know this statement may seem premature. It may seem like I am being too optimistic, but think with me. If you weren't ready, these symptoms wouldn't be appearing. The restlessness, the perception of patterns, the urgency, these are manifestations of maturity, not of crisis. Crisis is what happens when a person ignores these signs, when they push them under the rug, when they anesthetize themselves with more work, more distraction, more noise. The fact that you are here, listening to this, processing this, feeling resonance with this fact in itself is the evidence that the pleroma has arrived. So I'm going to ask you one last thing. Share this video with someone you feel, and I say feel, not think, needs to hear this today. Not everyone is at the same moment as you, but there is someone in your life who is. Someone who is living the same symptoms, the same restlessness, the same sensation that something monumental is approaching. This person needs to know they are not alone, that what they are feeling has a name, has a foundation, and has a direction. Share this video with them now. The secret was never God's. The secret was always yours. And now finally you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Not because someone gave you permission, but because you conquered the necessary perception with each step of this walk we call life. The veil has been removed, the covering has fallen. What was there was always there. But now, you are ready to see. This is Gala. This is Kairos. This is Pleroma. And this is just the beginning.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.